In the world of chess, where dominance was maintained for years by Soviet masters, there appeared a man who changed the history of this royal game. His name has been enshrined as a legend. Bobby Fischer, a genius with an unparalleled game. Today, we journey through Fischer's iconic matches, where brilliance met unpredictability. Starting off with this incredible game considered by many as best chess game of the 20th century, Fischer vs. Byrne, played in 1956 when Bobby was only 13 years old. White starts off with this reti opening which fastly transpositions into the English. Black plays g6 to develop his bishop to g7, and both sides develop their pieces. Byrne takes control over the center with the move d4. Byrne develops his bishop to f4, but Fischer strikes into the center with the move d5. Queen b6 attacked the pawn, so Black simply traded off and played c6 to protect the pawn. After some natural development, Black attacks White's queen with the move knight to b6 and pins Byrne's knight on f3. White responded with bishop to g5 with the threat of e5, but now Fischer shows off his genius by playing the first brilliant off the game, knight to a4. If you take the knight, there is knight takes e4, attacking the queen and the bishop, and if you take on e7, there is rook e8. If bishop takes the queen, with take, with check, and end up in this pleasant position, and even though materially it's equal, Stockfish says it's -5 because Black's pieces are all developed, and White's king is very unsafe. White saw that, so he decided to move his queen to a6. But Fischer had everything planned. He traded the knights, and then knight takes e4. If bishop takes, then queen to b6, and the idea is that Black can't take. If Black would capture the rook, bishop takes and the queen is under attack. It does not matter where the queen goes, we can always capture on c3 because of the pin threat. Black knew that he can't capture the rook, so he developed his bishop with the idea of castling fastly. But this young man is still hungry. Knight takes c3. You can't take the knight because rook to e8, and there is no way to protect the bishop. But Byrne plays a very strong move, bishop to c5, because now everything in Black's position is hanging. Fischer throws a check for the rook to be safe, and now there is only one line to save this position. But there is a reason they call him a genius. Bishop to e6. If White would capture the bishop, game ends with the beautiful smothered mate. And if Byrne would take the knight, then Fischer would just take the bishop. Black thought he had nothing better than taking the queen, and Bobby slowly exchanges his loss for 2 bishops and a pawn, so White is still up material, but the activity is so good, and also the queen and the rook are hanging, so his opponent is going to lose one of these pieces. Fischer slowly converts his advantage as the time is going. By the move 40, his opponent got checkmated by force. But if you thought that game was insane, you should stick onto the video, because in the next game, Fischer attacked like a beast and ended up with one of the most beautiful chess combinations you might ever see. He started the game with e4, and his opponent responded with e6, the French defense. Black played d5, attacking the center, and Fischer developed his knight to d2, knight to f6, and Bobby plays g6, declaring that his bishop would go to g2. Both sides are developing their pieces and preparing for castling. Fischer plays e5, attacking the knight, and after knight to d7, attacking the pawn. White plays rook to e1. Black plays b5, attacking on the queen side, but one of the chess master's rules says that if you're getting attacked on one of the flanks, you should launch your own counterattack in the center or the opposite side. So White plays h4. Black responds with the move a5, so we already know this game is going to be aggressive. Bishop to f4, and Black pawns are getting closer and closer. Lamsuren's plan in this position is to create weaknesses in White's pawn structure, and Fischer wants to attack with his pieces, using the h-pawn as help. White places his knight on e3, and a lot of Fischer's pieces are getting ready for the attack. d4 attacking the knight, and Black is still putting pressure on the queen side, underestimating Fischer's attack. Fischer finds a very good move, knight to g5, because it is the only way to put the queen in the game. And also, you can't play h6, because there is queen h5 and we sacrifice a full piece. Fischer's opponent king would be so weak that this position is better, and white had to see that when he played knight g5. Anyway, black plays knight in the center attacking white's bishop, so Fischer moves it to e2. Now bishop takes knight and Fischer attack is going to start. Black moves his queen and Bobby slowly puts every piece to play, starting with queen h5. Black plays rook to c8, so in the future he might open up the c line and infiltrate with his rooks. Even though Magmarsurin has a strong knight, this position is already better for white because Fischer's attack is going to be too strong. And Fischer doesn't wait a second. Bishop to f6, sacrificing a full bishop. There is a threat of queen h6, and if you want to protect it, the only way is to give up a rook for a knight. Fischer's opponent was a very strong player. He placed his queen on e8, which is the only move in this position that doesn't lose immediately. But Bobby plays knight to e4. If you take the bishop, now there is a fork. So black played g6, attacking the queen, queen to g5, and black took the knight. But wait, now Fischer's rook is coming. And now h5. The pawn moved in the opening finally arrives. Black took on d3, but Fischer didn't even care. Rook to h4, and the attack is unstoppable. Bobby Fischer ends this game in the most beautiful way possible, sacrificing his queen. I hope you enjoyed this video. I started this channel a couple of weeks ago, so I would appreciate a sub. I hope my editing got better since my last video. See you soon.